Listen very carefully, and don't remove your eyes from this screen. Archangel Michael guided you here in this exact moment because your soul needed to hear something that you've been ignoring for far too long. He says this is not a coincidence, not a random scroll, not an accident, this is alignment. You were pulled here because tonight carries a different kind of energy for you, something you haven't felt in a long time. Your home, your mind, your heart, something inside all of it is shifting, preparing, opening, and you may not even realize it yet. But Michael does. And that's why he is speaking. Archangel Michael says, I'm begging you to open this immediately, because your spirit is tired, your heart is heavier than you show, and the path you're walking right now, you cannot walk it alone anymore. These words might feel like they're reaching deep, like they're touching a place you don't talk about, but that's because he sees everything you hide behind your smile. He knows the nights you couldn't sleep, the moments you wanted to give up, the times you questioned why everything felt delayed, difficult, or painfully silent. And tonight, something enters your story that finally breaks that silence. Michael says you've been fighting invisible battles, thoughts, memories, doubts, responsibilities, expectations, and you've been doing it all without asking for help. You've been strong for everyone else, even when you had no strength left for yourself. You've carried burdens quietly because you didn't want to worry anyone. You didn't want to look weak. You didn't want to feel like a burden. But he wants you to understand this very clearly: strength is not carrying everything alone. Strength is reaching the moment where help finally reaches you. Tonight, that help arrives. He says there is something moving through your home, not fear, not danger, not darkness, but a powerful, peaceful, divine presence that wants to sit beside your spirit and take the weight off your shoulders. This presence may come as a sudden calm in your chest, or a thought that appears out of nowhere, or a memory that surfaces at the perfect time, or even a small sign around you. But no matter how it appears, it will feel like someone is whispering, "You're not alone anymore." Michael says the moment you opened this message, the energy around you shifted. A barrier you built, out of protection, out of pain, out of survival, has started to soften. And he wants you to stay until the end because the next words you hear will prepare you for what's about to happen tonight. Not something scary, not something negative, but something unexpected, something that will make you pause and question, why did this happen right now? And the answer will be simple, because it was time. He says you've been living with unspoken frustration, unspoken hope, unspoken fear, unspoken dreams, and tonight, one of those finally begins to change shape. You will feel a moment of clarity, or a message, or an emotion you can't explain, and that will be your sign that Archangel Michael is near you, guiding you, clearing the path you've been struggling to walk. He says he has been waiting for you to stop running, stop doubting, stop blaming yourself, and simply listen long enough for the shift to reach you. He says, tonight, your spirit begins to breathe again. And that is why he begged you to open this immediately. Because the moment you did, the healing started. The protection strengthened. And your next chapter quietly unlocked. This is just the beginning. Archangel Michael asks you to stay exactly where you are, because what he is about to reveal is something your heart has been waiting to understand for a very long time. He says tonight is not an ordinary night, it carries a frequency that only appears when a major shift is ready to enter someone's life. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit has already sensed it. That uneasy feeling, that sudden heaviness, that unexpected calm, it was all preparing you for what is coming. And Michael wants you to be ready, not afraid, because this moment is not here to break you, it's here to redirect you. He says something surprising is going to happen in your house tonight, not negative, not frightening, but shocking because it will feel so perfectly timed, so unusual, so significant that you won't be able to ignore it. This moment might appear small on the outside, almost ordinary, but the energy it carries will change how you see everything. He says it could be anything, a forgotten memory rising to the surface, a sudden realization hitting your mind with clarity, a message that arrives out of nowhere, someone reaching out unexpectedly, an emotional release you didn't see coming, or even a moment where your entire body feels lighter for no logical reason. Whatever it is, it will be undeniable. You will feel it in your chest, in your breath, in the space around you. Michael says this moment is the turning point you didn't realize was approaching. For too long, you've been stuck between what you wanted to leave behind and what you hoped to move toward. You've been carrying pieces of the past while trying to walk into the future, and that weight has made you feel slow, confused, and disconnected. But tonight marks the moment where something shifts inside your story, where the old stops controlling you, and the new finally starts reaching you. He says your spirit has been calling for this silently, through your prayers, through your tears. Through your tears, through every, "Why me?" you whispered when no one was listening. Tonight, the answer begins to arrive. He says the energy entering your home will feel like someone pressed pause on chaos, like life suddenly gives you a moment to breathe, to hear yourself, to understand what you've been ignoring. This moment is not random. It's a divine interruption. A redirection sent from a higher level of guidance. Michael says your name has been spoken in realms you cannot see, and tonight is the moment that response touches your world. He wants you to know that what's coming is not here to confuse you, it's here to clarify something. Something you've been questioning, doubting, or feeling lost about. There is a truth you need to see. A sign you need to notice. A realization that needs to open inside your mind. And when it happens, you'll understand why you were guided to this exact message, at this exact time, on this exact day. Michael says, prepare not with fear, but with openness. Because once this moment arrives, the energy around you shifts to a new phase. The delays begin to move. The blockages begin to dissolve. The things that felt stuck start flowing again. You might receive guidance through a dream tonight, a conversation, a memory, or even a sudden wave of emotion that pushes something out of your system. But whatever it is, it will move you forward. He says your spirit has been tired, drained, overworked, and overstressed, but tonight, your spirit receives support. You will feel watched over. You will feel carried. You will feel protected in a way you haven't felt in a long time. And that is why he needed you to hear this before the moment arrives. Because when it happens, you will recognize it instantly. And you will know this was never meant to scare you, it was meant to prepare you. Michael says, what enters your home tonight is alignment, not fear. Change, not danger. Breakthrough, not loss. And this moment will quietly shift your entire path. Archangel Michael wants you to take a slow breath right now, because what he is about to reveal goes deeper than anything you've heard so far. He says your heart has been carrying a silent storm, a quiet ache, a hidden exhaustion that you never fully expressed to anyone. You've been strong on the outside while your spirit struggled on the inside. You've been trying to stay calm, trying to stay positive, trying to keep yourself together even when you felt like pieces of your soul were slipping through your hands. And Michael says he has watched you through every moment of that struggle. He says, you have cried in silence more times than you admit. You have prayed for answers during nights when no one knew what you were going through. You have forced yourself to smile when all you wanted was peace. I saw every moment, even the moments you thought no one noticed. These words aren't meant to break you, they're meant to free you. Because he says the burden you've been carrying was never meant to stay with you forever. Michael says the energy entering your life tonight is here to loosen the chains around your heart, not chains placed by others, but the chains built from fear, disappointment, overthinking, and the pressure to always be strong. He says you've been carrying too much responsibility alone. You've been holding on to memories that still hurt, expectations that still drain you, and worries that still whisper your name even when you try to rest. But he wants you to know this very clearly: tonight is the night your heart begins to heal. He says something in your life is ready to shift, something heavy is ready to be released, something blocked is ready to open, and something ignored is ready to be acknowledged. This may come as a sudden wave of emotion, or a thought that brings clarity, or a moment of stillness that feels almost unnatural. You might feel like your body suddenly becomes lighter, or your mind becomes quieter, or your chest feels like it can finally breathe. This is not randomness, this is divine alignment. Michael says there is a message your soul has been trying to send you for weeks or even months, but your mind has been too overwhelmed to hear it. Tonight, that message finally reaches you. And the message is simple: something better is on its way. You've been living in survival mode for too long, reacting to life instead of receiving from life. He says the moment you opened this message, the cycle began to break. The confusion started to clear. And the path ahead began to brighten. He wants you to understand that everything you've been losing recently, everything that felt like it slipped away, everything that didn't work out, everything that felt delayed, none of it was punishment. It was redirection. He says the universe removed things that were draining you, slowed situations that weren't aligned with your growth, and closed doors that would have hurt you later. You didn't lose anything meant for you. You were being prepared for something you've been asking for, something bigger, something calmer, something more aligned with the person you're becoming. Michael says, your home, your spirit, your path, it's all being cleared. You might notice a small sign tonight, a sudden shift in the air, a feeling of warmth around you, a random memory resurfacing, a sudden thought that feels comforting, or even an inner voice that whispers, everything is going to be okay. When that happens, understand that it's not your imagination. It's guidance. It's reassurance. It's divine presence. He says the moment arriving tonight is not meant to surprise you, it's meant to prepare you for your next step. Because your life is about to move again. Opportunities that were stuck will begin to shift. Conversations that never happened will open. Emotions that were trapped will start to flow. Healing that felt far away will begin to reach you. And above all, your heart will feel supported in a way it hasn't felt in a long time. Michael says, you are entering a chapter where your spirit is no longer alone. I am walking with you. I am protecting your home. I am strengthening your heart. And I am guiding your next step. This is the moment where your healing begins. And this is only the start. Archangel Michael says the moment you have been moving toward, slowly, painfully, silently, is finally beginning to reveal itself. He says your spirit has carried years of pressure without realizing how much of your strength was being drained every single day. You became so used to surviving that you forgot what it felt like to truly live. You learned to absorb the stress of others, to carry wounds that weren't yours, to hold responsibilities that should have been shared, and to put your own healing on pause because life demanded too much of you. Tonight, that cycle starts to break. Michael says there is a layer of your spirit that has been locked away, a layer filled with your forgotten courage, your forgotten dreams, your forgotten clarity, your forgotten intuition. He says this part of you has been sleeping under the weight of all the things you never said, all the emotions you buried, all the dreams you postponed. But the energy entering your life now is awakening that part of you, the part that remembers who you truly are beyond the pain, beyond the fear, beyond the heaviness of your past. He says there is a quiet inner shift happening, one you may not fully notice yet, but you will feel it, like the slow return of strength in your heart. You will sense it when your thoughts begin to lighten, when your decisions become clearer, when your confidence begins to rebuild without you forcing it. You will feel it when you suddenly realize that something deep inside you is no longer willing to tolerate what drains your peace. Something in you is choosing healing over chaos, growth over fear, alignment over confusion, and truth over comfort. Michael says you have been waiting for a sign that tells you you're on the right path, that your effort hasn't been wasted, that your prayers weren't ignored. And tonight, that sign begins to manifest. It may show up as a shift in someone's behavior, as a resolution to something long delayed, as a message that gives you clarity, or as a moment of deep inner calm that makes absolutely no logical sense. He says when that moment comes, you'll recognize it instantly, not because it's dramatic, but because it will feel like the universe is exhaling with you. He wants you to understand that the shocking moment entering your home is not here to alarm you, it is here to break the repeating loop that has kept you stuck. For too long, you kept going because you had no choice. But now, life is giving you a choice, a real one. A choice to step into a version of your life that matches the strength you've earned, the wisdom you've gained, and the person you've quietly become through all your struggles. Michael says, you underestimate how powerful you've become. You don't see the strength in your journey because you were too busy surviving it. But I saw every step. And now, that strength is becoming your doorway. He says the pain that once weakened you has now become your inner armor. The heartbreak that once broke you has now become your clarity. The disappointments that once confused you have now become your wisdom. Nothing you faced was wasted. Every part of your past has shaped who you must become next. He also says there is a blessing that has been delayed, not denied, only delayed, because you weren't ready to receive it with full stability. But now the universe is shifting to bring it closer. He wants you to prepare your energy, your heart, your mind, because what's arriving will not feel accidental. It will feel like a promise finally fulfilled. A moment that makes you look back and realize why the wait was necessary. Michael says the divine presence entering your home tonight is not just protection, it is permission. Permission to step into your real life. Permission to expect better. Permission to finally choose peace without guilt. Permission to believe in something bigger again. Permission to walk away from cycles that broke you. Permission to reclaim the version of you that life forced into silence. He says your next chapter will not be built from fear, it will be built from clarity. Not from doubt, but from trust. Not from suffering, but from the strength you gained through it. Tonight, a door opens. Tonight, a shift begins. Tonight, your spirit steps into a new timeline. And everything, slowly begins to change.